Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. We have some massive breaking news tonight, starting it off with Fox News. Now, before I start waxing about this, let's go ahead and get into the news. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks founder, reaches plea deal to avoid prison in U.S. Assange spent 5 years in a British prison fighting extradition to the United States. Some of you may remember Julian Assange, as we've covered him here on the channel. Now, to most people here in the States and in the EU, this is not going to be of any significance to them. But in the political world, this is absolutely massive. So WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has entered into a plea deal for his alleged role in a massive government data breach as part of an arrangement with the Justice Department that will allow him to avoid imprisonment according to court documents. Assange will plead guilty to one count of conspiring to obtain and disclose information related to the national defense in a federal court in Saipan in the Northern Mariana Islands as U.S. territory this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough the significance of this politically. The guilty plea must be approved by a judge. Assange spent 5 years in a British prison fighting extradition to the United States. He previously spent 7 years of refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London after Swedish authorities sought his arrest after assault charges. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said here, this is massive. This is absolutely massive. So here's Julian Assange, 5-year battle, of course, and we're just going to go right down here to this section here. The judges had last month dismissed most of Assange's legal arguments, but said he would be able to bring an appeal on 3 grounds unless the U.S. provided satisfactory assurances. Right. These were that Assange would be protected by and allowed to rely on the First Amendment, that his trial would not be prejudiced by his nationality, and that the death penalty would not be imposed. Now, you're probably going, what in the world does all this mean? What is the significance of this all? And what caused me to laugh nearly hysterically for 15 minutes? The reason this is Julian Assange. Now, the establishment and the globalists despise Donald Trump, but you multiply that times 10, and that's how much they hate Julian Assange, because Julian Assange wrecked the Democrat Party, absolutely decimated them so badly that Vox had to come out in this exhaustive letter to defend Hillary Clinton with the 20 pages of hacked WikiLeaks emails that just absolutely decimated the Clinton campaign just, I think it was weeks or months before the election. And they still blame Julian Assange for it. But if you want to look any of this up, if you're curious about all this, absolutely, here it is, Vox. This is from 2016, but they wrote this exhaustive article here to try to defend Hillary Clinton and the fact that the material, at least the material that the establishment and globalists allowed the media to cover, because some of the stuff he covered in WikiLeaks I could not talk about here on YouTube, and the media of any kind could not talk about it at all. So from Politico, and I couldn't find a date on this, but as you know, as I just mentioned, WikiLeaks is dropping daily installments of its trove of Hillary Clinton campaign manager John Podesta's hacked emails, providing an unprecedented glimpse into the inner workings of the Clinton campaign and its allies. Clinton's campaign has declined to comment on the veracity of the WikiLeaks emails, accusing the site of working to aid Russia and Donald Trump's presidential campaign. They always run to Russia when it comes to everything. But the significance of this, again, is absolutely massive. Massive. And here we have from BBC, this is back in 2016 as well. So this was October. So this was about a month before the election, or October surprise, I suppose one could say. 18 revelations from WikiLeaks hacked Clinton emails. Now, so here's the article, BBC News, and you can look up 18 revelations. And, of course, it's also nearly as exhaustive as Vox's outline because, of course, they can only talk about what the establishment and the EU and the Clintons will allow people to talk about, because all these topics here, the Morocco quid pro quo, Sanders is a doofus, Bill Gates for Veep, Clintons won't forget, all these sorts of topics, Ring China, all these topics are things that the Clintons, the establishment, the Democrats, and the globalists will allow people to talk about. And the reason these are listed here, as with the Vox article, is these are the things that they've been trying to play down. And these are the things that they've been trying to protect Clinton from. Or they've toned it all down as much as possible. But the significance of this, and the reason it's released tonight on Monday night, is because they want to downplay it so much. Now, I am willing to bet, I am willing to probably put money down on this, that the reason the Democrats and the establishment and the globalists and the Democrats are willing to swallow this extraordinarily bitter pill is because they don't want Donald Trump to pardon Julian Assange. Now, it's bad enough that they hate Donald Trump, but the idea of Donald Trump winning and then pardoning Julian Assange would cause them to probably spontaneously combust. They would absolutely lose their ever-living minds if this happened. So this is, again, very significant. And I can only imagine, I think this is absolutely, and this is what caused me to laugh for about 15 minutes uncontrollably. Luke Rodkowski here is with the Libertarian Party. He's a Libertarian. And you guys may recall that Tim Pool was there also at the Libertarian Convention when Donald Trump was going to speak there. And they asked Donald Trump right after they talked to Kash Patel about whether or not they would pardon Julian Assange. And Trump kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, I think Trump said that he would consider it or he would look into it. Now, Julian Assange is talked about exhaustively by the Libertarians nearly ad nauseum. I mean, it's almost to me sometimes just ridiculous to the just to the point of just insufferable of how much they talk about Julian Assange. And also Ross Ulbricht. Now, Ross Ulbricht is another individual. Now, if you don't know who Ross is, basically he created the dark web, the Silk Road, which allowed people to interact and engage on there, without the prying eyes of government and that sort of thing. And then a lot of nefarious activity happened that is outside of his control, right? He created the road for the people to travel on, but he did not monitor it or police it or report any of the activity, because the entire purpose of the dark web is so people can't track anyone. But Ross Ulbricht, as well as Julian Assange, are the biggest figures within the Libertarian Party's, their foundation, right? The basis of their whole essence is government non-interference, small government, and freeing individuals and allowing them to speak freely. But of course, with Julian Assange, he basically hacked things, which is technically illegal. And that's just, I'm not the biggest fan of Assange. I think it's hilarious, like I said, that he did what he did, mainly for the purposes of undermining Hillary Clinton, because the Democrats do this very same thing themselves. And this is why they hate Julian Assange with a passion beyond any words that I could even begin to muster for you. But this story broke tonight, probably because of the significance of what I just outlined. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I welcome your thoughts and comments down below. If you think that the Democrats were willing to swallow this bitter pill because if Donald Trump wins and releases Julian Assange, they will spontaneously combust. So I would like to get your thoughts down there in the comments below. How significant is it? If you're a libertarian, I can only imagine right now, you don't know whether to poop or wind your watch. You're so excited, because this is just so massive. But I do want to thank all of you guys across New Tech as well as here on YouTube for your guys' continued support. And appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.